Welcome to Tekoa Tutorials. Um, I'll quickly, briefly go through all the things that we recommend in Barefruit to really, uh, don't update, don't edit, don't really try to keep away from these links so that the site doesn't get altered, and then you're calling uh, your web designers and maintenance guys to be like, hey, what happened to my site? What did I do? And usually those problem fixes take some time because we need to trace back to what you did, and that follows along with questions and it's a process. So we just want to make sure that your site is always functioning like it's supposed to, and all the links are working, all the pages are functioning, and all the sidebar widgets, all that stuff is all functioning correctly so that your site looks professional all the way through all the time. So I'm just going to quickly, briefly, just talk about some things. Let's talk about really the dashboard since we're here right now. We're going to work our way down, and we're going to see up here, the Maven member section, which, again, we want to make sure we don't touch, play around with until you watch the member tutorial stuff, and that'll show you how to play around with the member section. Here you'll be able to click visit site and be able to visit the site so that, and once you're in the back end, you can see what's in the front end. And the cool thing about it is that if you see your dashboard section, which is what's right in front of you right now, that's what will show you that you are logged in. So when you go and click on visit site, you'll be in the front end. This is called the back end. When you're on the front end, you'll be able to view that you're logged in and at the front end at the same time. So, right in here, it says two, and refresh. It says, one plugin update, one theme update. And if I were to click here, update two themes, you don't want to touch that. We recommend that you really don't touch that, because what happens is when you update your CSS, which is the coding that makes a site look like it's supposed to, or any of the PHP, which makes the site function like it's supposed to, it'll crash. The site will crash. It won't look like it used to. So allow us to do all the updating. Allow us to do all the all the download functions and all these different things so that your site stays and looks the same it did when you first got it. So again, you don't want to play with any of the updates, upgrades, all these different things. You just leave it as that. And sometimes you'll get comments. You can click on the comment section to take a look at it, and see who commented and stuff. And so we'll continue going off on there. And you could do new post, new media, new link. You don't want to really do it with pages because all the pages are set. You've already all created all your pages. Because once you create a new page, then you got to create a menu item so that it finds the page. And so we've already created all that for you, so you don't want to play around with pages. Products. Once you get products, we'll show you under the store or the product store tutorial how to play around with that. The mini feature has actually been eliminated. It was actually a function that was in a certain area of the site. It didn't look good. We removed it so that we could create the site to look like the way we wanted it when we chose to on the design phase. The slides, let that be. The portfolio item, let that be. Feedback and slide villa slider and users, you'll know how to do that once you watch the member section again. And all the slider stuff, there'll be slider tutorials on there so that you know how to upgrade all the videos. Great. So let's move on. As you know, I'm logged in under the admin section. You may be logged in under your name, and that's fine. Again, you'll be able to edit profile, log out, do all the things that you need to do. Under the edit profile, you'll be able to update a picture. So you'll see a little icon there. You can update your information. Basically, it'll just take you into the user section, into your profile. Okay. So under you see here screen options. Okay. This is nothing really that important, although when you do want to watch these tutorial videos that we're creating, you'll notice if you look at the bottom of the screen, it's gone, the video tutorial section. Click it back, it's back up. So these are sections that we've placed on it that are important for you. We don't want to overwhelm you with all this stuff, summary sales, get shopping news, sales a quarter, all these different things. If you want it, that's fine, you can add it. It's not going to affect anything on the front end. It's just going to show you all the features that you can do here in the back end, and you can quickly access those sections. You have a 1, 2, 3, 4 column view. I got here 2, 1, 2. So I'd leave it as is, what you see here, these checked off functions. And as you notice, those are the checked off functions that you see down here, just like we just explained. Now, you'll be seeing this video here. The first video you'll see is the Welcome to Tekoa tutorial, and which is a video we're creating right now. And basically, the way you play these videos is you'll be able to play this here, and then you'll notice this section here. Let's remove that out because we already have it on there. So, the section will look a little bit, I'll show you once it's finished loading. You'll have a big red play button right in here, and you won't have this feature here. You'll just have the big play button. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's refresh the page. And we're just refreshing the admin section so that you see what you get. All right, so you have the playlist Tekoa tutorials, 4 videos, okay? They'll say 5 videos once this video is completed. You'll hit this play button, and, you can't really click on here. Oh, you can, okay. So, you'll be able to view which one you want. You'll see posting and sliders, media page and slides, a member section tutorial, and newsletter widget. Okay, the first video that I'll automatically play is this video I'm creating again. So that's very important. If you want to go and view the videos on an outside source, you go to Tekoa Vids right here. Okay, this will open up a tab, take you to the section 1, 2, 3, 4 Vids Tekoa videos. It's just a side account that we created under Barefruit so that you know how to function around with your site. And again, here, if there's something wrong, like listen, there's something wrong with the site, I need to contact my developer. Right in here, you can directly contact us. Contact your developer so that you can figure out what's wrong. So it's going to open up your mailbox, and there it is. It's going to contact the Barefruit. And then you type in whatever the issue is. All right, so let's move on. Now, I know that you've guys received tutorials about posts, links. This is, pretty basic. You want to add a link in there, and you want to talk about, you want to take them to the feedback section, WordPress feedback. You create a link, and then you'll be able to put that under your, if you notice here, categories blog roll. It's always important to put your links in a category, and then you can, within the widget section, which I'll show you, which we don't recommend that you play with, add it in. So these functions are kind of obsolete for you because the site is designed in a way where you don't need this. So you don't need links. Pages, okay, this is very important. Under pages, let's say you want to put in under health, right? You want to say something under health. You don't want to touch these pages. Let me just go straight off and just tell you that, because the moment that you start playing around with these pages, you'll start adding text and content under sections that is actually coded, not content ready. What I mean by that is that there's media information that's written as code instead of as simple content. Like for instance, just you typing "Hello, how are you" on the web page, it'll display something else that you don't want. Some of the pages, for instance, school's not like that. School's a little bit different. School has actual content. Say you misspelled something wrong, and you want to fix the school page. You can go back in here and edit it, and say, okay, I want to say something else here. Let's get rid of this and delete that, and you got the basic functions that are up here for documents. And but here's the tricky part. You start seeing 3:1. Okay, that looks like it says 3:1. But what does that do? If everything looks like this, why does it look different on the site? And as you notice, everything was, look at that. It's very different. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns here, and then you have 1, 2 columns here. Why does that look like that if this looks like this? Well, basically, we have some functions in here that are telling it, hey, this section here, make it look like this. And this section here, make it look like this. If you want to edit text be careful. Go in here and erase what you want to put, and that's it. And then up here, hit update. But we don't recommend, be careful of sections like these that look like weird code so it doesn't alter your site. And don't hit enters and don't hit space bars. Just evenly copy and paste over. Okay. Now that's why it's just very important that you don't want to alter your page. Okay, and services is similar, staff is similar. You'll start noticing that. So, for instance, if you take a look at staff 2, which is I think similar page as staff 1, you know how this looks. Now, if you realize this is crazy. What's going on here? All this function. Well, we're calling it to look like this. We're calling it to look a little different, but this is how it looks like here. And so you just got to be careful that when you alter these pages, you don't remove the code functions. You just edit the information. So basically you want to go here, delete, and type in Tekoa. Whatever the error was, maybe there was a non-caps, okay? And then you can update it. Now there are all these full widths and all that stuff and set featured image. You've learned that under posts and stuff like that. You don't want to play around with that on the page sections, okay? If it's not there, don't add to it. And so if it's there, just don't add to it. All right. This is just so that we're well aware that you guys' site is completely as we left it, so that you're fully satisfied with your product. Comments. You'll get some of the comment posts on here. Great to see the site is up and running. You'll see all these comment posts, and you can unapprove so that it doesn't show up on the front end, or you can disapprove or reply directly or quick edit or spam or trash it. Whatever you want to do, this section you can play around with. Comments, are usually come in as bots, and sometimes you don't want those bots to show up on the front end. So you can go in here and just spam it so that next time somebody contacts under that information, they know that it's spam and it'll automatically go into the spam section. Okay, products, there'll be a video for that. Mini features, we talked about how that's been gone. And all these other sections, we know that that are either in a tutorial or in a section that we say please try not to play around with because it'll alter your site. Swatch is a very, very important, as well as appearance, are two very important sections that we recommend that you don't handle because it will alter your site completely. And you'll be like, what just happened to my site? And we'll realize, hey, you actually ended up playing with the function that altered your site. One section that you may want to be like, well, how can I add this to here? How can I put a section into here? We talked about the widget section, which is so important that it doesn't get handled, because then you completely change different sections on the site, and then you'll be like, why does this look like this? So for instance, this section in here, if you look at primary, it has categories, post, school, Woo, embed, media, and MailChimp list sign up. I'm going to educate you on this so that you know where this is, okay? If you notice here, school bulletin, media video, and Tekoa Health newsletter sign up. The moment that you move that or get rid of that or go in here and go, let me make it say this, you alter the front end. You can delete, you alter it on the front end. Again, we don't recommend that you play with the widget section. One of the most important sections in here is obviously this home pointer slider category section. The moment you get rid of that on your home page, it'll be gone. And you'll be like, where's all the stuff that I had on my home page? Again, this footer 4, it's a footer. Usually what footer sections usually says that it's in the bottom, but this section is actually in the top because we coded it because there were no other sections on the site that were for the top. So we coded it to be on the top. So now we know the Woo search, the simple social icons, which we know obviously are the Facebook icons, and the custom menu, which we know what that is, the members section link. Please, we recommend that you don't play around with the widget section. Plugins, it's unnecessary because all the plugins that you need are on the site. If you install something, it's not going to work unless you activate it, and if you activate it, it'll alter your site again. Now users, we explain users under the member section. If some user signs in, you'll be able to accept it or change their password if they forget their password. Do whatever you want to do. User section is pretty much fair game. You can definitely play around with that when people come in. Tools. I'll be honest with you myself. I've never played around with the tools section, um, and I recommend that you don't as well. I mean, I don't. I rarely use. I rarely do I ever use it, and so yeah, I don't recommend you play around with that. Now settings. Let's go into settings here. Now in here it talks about site title, taglines, all these different things. These sections in here actually don't show up in the front end. It's been coded differently. If you notice on the front page, it says Tekoa mission is for life. Yes, it does, right there. But this is an actual image. If I go over it like this, you'll notice that this is an image. You see how I select that? It's not text. So where's that information? Well, we didn't place it there. We removed the code so that we could actually control the look of Tekoa and not have some random font to look like Tekoa, because we wanted to make sure that we were continuing your branding, your Tekoa branding. And so, you don't want to play around with the Tekoa.com because this will absolutely crash your site. So under these settings sections, you don't want to change any of this. Email. Okay, email section you can. Once you guys have figured out what email you want people to contact you by, you can place it in here. Right now it's info@thebarefruit.com, but I think I will alter the section once I know what email you guys would like. So you don't have to come in here and play around with it. And again, this is just saying every new user that comes in as a subscriber, that's perfect. That's what you want them to be. You don't want them to be an admin. You don't want them to be anything else that is not according to, what you want them to be without your permission. And time codes, different like that. If you know your time code, change it. We leave it pretty much at a standstill because it usually the site knows your location. The date, time, all that jazz. Let's see. Writing. Again, these setting sections are so tricky. You don't want to play around with it. But we'll just go in there and dive in there now so that, I'm a curious George myself. I like to really figure out what I'm playing around with here. But I don't want you guys to, hurt your site and not have something up and be like, hey, where'd the site go? So again, size of box, post boxes, 20 lines. This is just basically the little bit of section, the how many lines you want within your post sections. This is perfect according to the design layout, so I wouldn't touch any of this. This is email pop. Don't play around with this. Any of the posting formatting. This basically when somebody writes a post, it goes where? It goes to the blog section, so on. All the other pages, whenever somebody creates a post, it can go to those specific pages unless you create the category. If you look at the posting tutorial, you'll figure all that out. You don't want to alter your email information because this isn't where you fix it for your contact form. Your contact form is somewhere completely different. This is just the site, so don't worry about that. Reading, this has been fixed so that your site will function the same way. Discussion, this little things here. Let's say allow link notifications from your blog, allow people to post comments on new articles. Now, if you come in here, and that's pretty explanatory, allow people to post comments on your new articles. If you don't want anybody to comment on it, then yes, you can come in here and remove it. But as of right now, the design and layout is designed, according to these features being available. And so, you could as simply as, remove a comment that's been said instead of worrying about, people commenting bad things. If you are that worried, you could disallow it here and another place as well, which I'll show you. So media, media is pretty simple. Now, this is very important. I know that I'm at media, and I wish I mentioned this a lot earlier because this information needs to be heard. The banner section, the home page, has a specific width and a specific height. So let's go there. If I go into health, the home page, and you see this banner here. Let's use some of these functions. Actually, let's go into my coding section here on my developers panel, and I want to actually show you display ruler. I want to actually show you the size of this section here. So if you notice, it says here, okay, 935. Oh, I'm a little too high up here, huh? Okay, well, I'm a little too high, but this width is around 935 by 467. Now that's approximate width because it does have these effects and it has all these different things. But you need to know that this section here is, I'll show you right now. Oh, you know what? I messed it up. But this section here is actually 933 by 445. That is so important. Again, 933 pixels by 445 pixels. And again, that is crucial because the next time that you upload a photo and it goes outside of that dimension size, boom, this thing will go crazy over here, and this get pushed down, and so on and so forth. So you got to be careful. Now, I want to show you something else. So now we know that's 933 by 445. Let's go in here and actually take a look at the actual size. You don't want to play around with any of this because the moment that you do, you will alter again the front end. Let's go into media here. And I'll just be done real quick so this video is not long. And you'll see all the media section. I'm sure under the media section, under the media tutorial, you'll figure that out. Here it is. Dimensions 933 by 445. Let's go back. Let's take a look at another one. 933 by 445. And you know what? Let's go into here. Let's go into this. Now this is, let me show you. Actually, let's come in here. Let's remove this ruler function. Okay. Now, if you notice this is the same aspect ratio as the top one. So this is an aspect ratio of what? 16 by 9, whatever it is. But what I'm trying to say is that this sized down was once 933 by 445. It actually still is 933 by 445. It just basically created into a smaller resolution. Okay, so this is the same exact images here. You can kind of tell how rich, how richer it is. Look at that rich. How richer it is in texture and detail because it's smaller. So again, over here as well, and you'll be able to notice the same thing over here. It's so important, I tell you again, it's so important to have these sections be, the banners be 933 by 445. Now, if you notice here in articles, this looks like a little mini one. Same aspect ratio. Aspect ratio, again, is just the dimension in which sizing from small to big will still stay according to that proportion. Okay, so the proportion will always be the same. So that's the aspect ratio. So it looks like it's 16 by 9. And so 933 by 445, just a little bit smaller, kept proportions. And that's consistent throughout the site. You see that there? Let's go into blog. Again, consistency throughout the site. Even in the Tekoa menu, if I click on this, actually, let's do this here. All right, you see it? There it is. So that I highlighted it so you can notice that it's the same thing as the top. So same aspect ratio. Here it is, 933 by 445. We recommend that you go into Photoshop, find the image you like, and crop it. Actually, let's do that real quick. Let's go into Photoshop. And let's open up an image. Let's see, what do we got here? Let's open up a random image. Actually, you know what? Let's open up this one since I played around with this on your site. And let's go in here and let's do fire. Actually, you know what? This one may not work, but we'll see. Okay, so you notice that this is at 100% already, but the aspect ratio is 933 by 445. Let's go in here and let's choose 933 pixels by 445 pixels. Now, watch what happens. 72 resolution is the resolution for all web content. 300 is for print. So you want to hit 72. Okay? So now, let's go here. So now we have 933 by 445. Now watch what happens. Because this is already a smaller image than the banner in the home page, if I crop this, see how it's a little bit off. It's a little bit off in proportion. Watch what happens. I clicked it and it became bigger. But the quality is weaker. That's because the image was smaller in resolution before. So it's usually it's a tough process because when you have an image that's already small and you want to make it bigger, the resolution will always go bad. But the image still looks good to me. I mean, I think that the fire still has a pretty good detail and the text has pretty good detail. But you notice that this is the same exact size as the banner section, which is important. Again, 933. So you go right here in the crop tool, hover that, see crop tool or type C. Go in here, type in your dimensions, 933 by 72 dpi, which is also known as resolution. Hover over that, select it all, or select just a specific area. What's going on? It's my, let's see here. Let's do this. Let's not crop that. Don't crop that. Okay, right here. And let's say I just want to hold the fire section. Now again, remember this is a small area, and I'm gonna have to make it's gonna make it bigger. So I'm choosing this small area, and I want it to be bigger. Again, the resolution is gonna go bad. Watch. So it's gonna be a little poor resolution, but you'll get the same banner size for 933, 445. So you want to make sure you play around with large images when you're doing all these banner content or you're doing all this design stuff. You want to make sure you play around with larger images so that when you do crop it, the details of the images will become a lot better. You know, they'll look a lot richer. But when they're small and you're trying to make them big in Photoshop, the quality of the images will start getting stretched and the pixelation will start looking blurry, and it won't have that great detail in which it once had. Okay, so let's go back on the site. Let's take a look let's see if we covered everything. So we know we went to settings. We talked about images, media, privacy. Let's see. Okay, so privacy and permalinks. You don't want to play with those two things because they'll change the linking up here, and then you'll be like the Tekoa something something at something.com, and you'll be like, whoa, what link is that? And they may not even have content on that page. It's like the link does not exist, so you don't want to play with that. MailChimp widget, there'll be a video tutorial for that, but this is just a site key so that it recognizes your account, which you'll have to replace in the future. Update URLs, again, you don't want to do anything updating. Anything updating will tear your site. Will just make it fall and collapse. And store, there'll be a store tutorial. We'll show you how to add content, play around with all this information. But the first things first, if I look in here in payments, you need to have a PayPal account. This store, you kind of need a PayPal account. So you need to sign up for a PayPal account, and you'll be able to get all these features here. So let's go back. Let's see, look in the payment. And here it is, PayPal. You want to put your PayPal information and so on, and there'll be a tutorial to show you how to do that. So great, that's just the things that we want to make sure that you know. This is Tekoa main tutorial, sections that you can play around with, sections that we recommend that you don't, because you will be calling us if you do. So all the best, and I hope that this is helpful for you. If you have any questions, again, under the dashboard section, you can go under the tutorial, contact the developer here, or just contact us at info@bearfruit.com or call at 781-393-1950. All right, take care, and I'm Jonathan Garcia.